I recently had an interesting debate with a friend because I made a bold statement that Nehemiah was the father of project management. She actually pushed back. She argued that Nehemiah was nowhere close to the people who built the Tower of Babel. I was like, the Tower of Babel, is that what we are doing now? But jokes aside, she had some great points to back up her claim. One of them being that the Tower of Babel is believed to have been taller than the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building in the world right now. And also, you can't talk about the power of thoughts without referencing the Tower of Babel project. In my book, The Asian Prayer Blueprint, I referenced that myself. Hello, my name is Dinelle. Regardless, I'm going to defend my case on Nehemiah, a man who lived a life of depth, meaning, and influence. He exhibited patriotism, love of people and nation. When he received the bad news that Jerusalem laid in ruins, he felt the burden because he understood the importance of Jerusalem as part of Yahweh's covenant promise. He immediately recognized he has just been presented with an assignment. Even though he was in a servanthood position, he also was in a trusted position. He knew he was divinely positioned and leveraged power. He took advantage of his access to the king and the resources that came with it. Unlike the Tower of Babel folks, he was a prayerful man. He sought the direction of the covenant-keeping God before he acted. Notice in his prayer, he asked for divine favor, a very important key before he approached the king. As a result of his consultation with God, he came up with a plan, presented his project goal before the king. He was prepared. He had a deadline and was able to provide the timeline that the king needed. Because he had the foresight to satisfy the project scope, he also requested documentation to make sure other stakeholders like the governors and the keepers of the royal park were in alignment with the project. Now wait for it. Here comes the reality. Despite being in his divine assignment and initiating this project effectively by making sure all the stakeholders were in alignment, he still faced obstacles. Two detractors in particular called Sanballat and Tobiah. The Bible states that these two were disturbed that someone has come to promote the welfare of the Israelites. Evil gatekeepers, some are in your circles. They intimidated and antagonized him with outrageous claims, sarcasm, gossip, mockery, threats, false accusations, fake hunches, and evil plots, including hiring a prophet called Shemaiah to try to deceive him. But Nehemiah, cool as a cucumber because of his heart posture, ate their hunches for breakfast and still remained hungry, resilient, and focused. He did so by reminding them who the power behind the project was. He basically handed them over to God, persevered, and soldiered on. My take, number one, child of God, you are not born for you. Your life was never for you. There are destinies attached to who God created you to be. Number two, unlike our friends at Babel who actually attempted something extraordinary, Nehemiah's project wasn't ego-driven. He wasn't intending to prove a point. This was an assignment of promise and destiny. He made sure he consulted God first. Number three, the right prayer is a great starting point, but always have a plan and be prepared. Number four, be gentle as a dove and wise as a serpent. Notice in Nehemiah chapter 2:12, Nehemiah mentions he has not shared everything that God had put in his heart to do for Jerusalem. Timing is everything. Know what to share and when. Even though God was part of his project, Nehemiah understood that the execution was entirely on him. Because of clarity of vision, toughness, and resiliency, Nehemiah was able to motivate and influence a broken people. Arise and build. Love and light.